Hey there, and thanks for tuning in, everyone. I'm Brother James, and this is the 613 Laws of God Countdown. Each episode, we will examine a manageable handful of the commandments of Moses from a modern secular layperson's point of view. This week, and for the foreseeable future, we are broadcasting from the Conroy Pitt Community Center Media Room. They have shut down operations and have graciously allowed me to rent the space out at an amazing discount. This would be a good time to thank our sponsor, the Drunken Druid Pub, open for limited capacity indoor dining, takeout, and the new drive-through window. Bring your own containers. All right, let's get right into it. We had a question from viewer Sandra Ann, who asked, where did the 613 laws of God come from? Well, thanks for tuning in, Sandra. Great question. Well, according to the Hebrew Bible, or I guess in the Christian Bible, the Old Testament, Moses, who was the leader of the early Israelis, was traditionally seen to be the one who wrote the 5 books of the Hebrew Bible, or the Pentateuch, though most scholars now believe there are probably multiple authors. But traditionally and religiously, it's been attributed to Moses. And it says in the Bible, and the Lord said unto Moses, write this for a memorial in a book, and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua, that I will utterly blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. So there's God going on about Amalek again. And Exodus 34:27 says, and the Lord said unto Moses, write thou these words, for after the tenor of these words I have made a covenant with thee and with Israel. So the laws as purportedly given to Moses represent the contractual obligation that the Israelis have with God, and I guess God with them. Okay, so let's jump right in. Law 590, Deuteronomy 24:17. A judge must not pervert a case involving a convert or orphan. So yeah, that's a good law. I'm not sure what a convert is. A convert to Hebrewism, perhaps. But, a judge obviously shouldn't pervert a case involving anyone. So good law. We'll keep that one. Law 589, Deuteronomy 24:17, not to demand collateral from a widow. That's good. I think widows are often given a nod in the laws of the Bible. The actual reading says, do not deprive the foreigner or the fatherless of justice, or take the cloak of a widow as pledge. So yeah, there seems to be a lot of attention paid to the social welfare of widows and orphans so far, and also an interesting passage not to harass foreigners. Number 588, Deuteronomy 24:16. Relatives of the litigants must not testify. And if you actually read the verse, it says, parents are not to be put to death for their children, nor children to put to death for their parents. Each will die for their own sin. Now, I think that's fair up to a point, although I don't think, I don't know how they square the die for your sins with the do not kill. But something interesting I've noticed, though, so far is sometimes the Maimonides law, as he I believe puts it, or as it's been translated into English, will differ somewhat from what the passage actually reads. So I'm not sure why that is, but it's interesting. So don't put the kids to death for the sins of the parents, and vice versa. Number 587, Deuteronomy 24:15. Pay wages on the day they're earned. Well, this is good. It sounds like God was thinking of the working class and the poor when he was dictating his laws. Back in the day, that was probably very, very sensible advice. And it still is. There's still day laborers. Day labor is still a thing. Now, the next set of laws, number 586, 85, and 84, Deuteronomy 10 through 13, all seem to be about debt and the system of debt and collateral. So return the collateral to the debtor when needed, not to delay its return when needed, and the creditor must not forcibly take collateral. So I guess back in the system that they had, it's weirdly familiar in a society like ours that operates on credit and borrowing. Collateral is a word that we understand, and it's common in transactions. There seems to be a warning to lenders not to mess around with borrowers. I think that's probably the theme here. Number 583, Deuteronomy 24:8. The Metzora must not remove his signs of impurity. Now, the Metzora is someone with a skin disease. It says, in case of defiling skin diseases, be very careful to do exactly as the Levitical priests instruct you. Now, I looked into this a little bit on Wikipedia, and it's not strictly leprosy. Leprosy is definitely a skin disease and one that pops up in the Bible more than once. And sometimes it says leprosy in translations, but the rabbinical scholars have said that it could be almost any defiling skin disease. Cirrhosis, I guess. Is it cirrhosis? Is that a skin disease? Am I thinking of something else? Anyhow, and leprosy itself, they didn't discover that leprosy was caused by a bacterium until the 19th century, and they didn't really have a viable treatment for it until the 1940s. So leprosy has been around for thousands of years. It's cursed mankind for a long time, and they still don't have a cure. Hopefully one day. Law number 582, Deuteronomy 24:6, not to demand as collateral utensils needed for food preparations. There again, there must have been a lot of borrowing and lending, and I guess that's what they would borrow again. The collateral would be what the person would own, so it certainly wouldn't be fair to take what they needed to make their food. That would be like a death sentence. Law number 581, Deuteronomy 24:5, not to demand from the above any involvement, communal or military. So law number 580 is Deuteronomy 24:5. He who has taken a wife, built a new home, or planted a vineyard is given a year to rejoice with his possessions. And of course, the follow-up is not to demand the above any involvement, communal or military. So yeah, basically, a guy's got a year home free before he has to do his social service. Where are we here? Oh yeah, this is interesting. When I was looking at that verse, part of that verse, Deuteronomy 24:7 says, if someone is caught kidnapping a fellow Israelite and treating or selling them as a slave, the kidnapper must die. You must purge the evil from among you. That's a harsh sort of thing to say, but Maimonides doesn't actually include it as a law. I guess it's like a sub-law. Okay, one more. We'll do one more. We'll break into the 570s this week. Law number 579, Deuteronomy 24:4. A man must not remarry his ex-wife after she has married someone else. And honestly, I'm a live and let live kind of guy, but this is probably good advice. If it didn't work the first time, it's probably not going to work the second time. You should maybe move on with your life. Okay, that's all the studio time I booked for this episode. I hope to see you next time on the 613 Laws of God Countdown. See you later.